taking a year-long process and hand sewing and hand beating suits just for culture's sake. So it's a very, very passionate thing to actually be involved in this tradition. The Black Carnival traditions of New Orleans started out of resistance. Africans who came here during the transatlantic slave trade, when they rebelled against slavery, they ran off into the maroon communities with the indigenous, and they would hide them from the slave masters. So the way that we pay homage to those indigenous folk for doing that was to create this tradition that we call the masculine Indian tradition. They started calling us Mardi Gras Indians. That wasn't a name that we gave ourselves. We use the term Black masculine Indian to make the distinction that when we pay homage, we're mainly speaking of the people that was able to hide us. And you can't hide people if you don't look like them, right? There was many folk here, Black folk of African descent, who were indigenous to Louisiana many years before the transatlantic slave trade. Black Indians. And that's who we're actually paying homage to.
Bitch, won't bow down, don't know how I make a caterpillar crawl a slippery wall. And when I get him to the top, I damn him fall.
I'm not sure exactly when it started, but I do know that Blacks wasn't allowed to do Mardi Gras with Europeans in the French Quarter. We had to utilize European holidays to mask our African carnival traditions in the streets and neighborhoods. So the significance of Mardi Gras Day was really about being able to come out on the streets without needing a permit from the city. There's three parts to being an Indian. One is masking. Once you put a mask on, you become the energy or entity of what it is that you're masking. It's an African tradition. The other is procession. You're taking that mask and you procession in the streets and the neighborhoods. The other part is the ritual, taking a year-long process and hand sewing and hand beating these suits. You have Africa in it, you have indigenous in it, you have native in it, and you also have the innovation of New Orleans that's all present in the suit. The unique thing about the suits is you can use your own creativity. Your color is always your choice. Your subject matter or your theme, that's your choice as well. So you have the ability to be as creative as you want to be. It's a 100-pound suit, so it's very heavy. Like they would say, pretty in the front and pretty in the back. Be a golden feather hunter, we dress like that. You want to try to be pretty. There's a lot of vanity in it, so you still a little bit vain. So it's just a term that we use. Now it's about the prettiest, who make the nicest suit, even though, that's just a very small part of the culture. It's a year-long process, so you might take you a month to just design a suit. And then after that, you actually sewing. Mardi Gras morning, we always, what they call come out. The community would be outside waiting because you're not really doing this for yourself, you're doing it for the community. Your suit all year long that you're sewing is really a secret. And people shouldn't see it until you come out. So that's what everybody's really waiting on, just to see what you came up with that year. Once we come out together, then we start our route on actually going out to meet tribes. When you actually meet a tribe, we battle with the suits, with the craftsmanship. Nobody wants to bow, we call it. Mean bow down on that dirty ground. So when you hit the streets and battle these tribes, that's what you're battling for. Nobody wants to take a year and do something and then bow to another chief. When you design something in your head, and at the end of a year, you see that design meeting the expectation or sometimes exceeding the expectation. The beauty of it, it becomes addictive. That's why I say there's no such thing as an ugly suit, because if you took the time, the commitment, the tenacity, the endurance, it takes a lot to do that. To like the culture, enjoy the culture, respect the culture, that's one thing. But when you're a practitioner of it, you live in it, that's all of the above. And I think as a practitioner, it becomes a way of life. So the passion is really about understanding how important it is for this tradition to live.